Hey guys, it is it's technically day 14. Um, Day 13 was an interesting day. It was a very good day, very long, but I didn't get to my update because I spent a lot of day doing a tremendous amount of internal work. So, one of the biggest things I want to talk about is where does self expression take you? So, day 13 is day 6 of week 2, and this is where. So, the second question of the second week is where, and the sixth stage is self expression or, authenticity. And so, where does authenticity lead you? Well, it leads you to the truth, which is the next step, which is what we'll talk about, like true personal truth. One thing I want to talk about as well is this idea of opposition, right? Because that's something that I've been noticing happening more and more, that as I rise and I get better and stronger and more capable, you just you see more opposition. Now, it doesn't mean that they really can do anything to you. I was talking to someone today and I told her that, as you rise, you're going to have more haters. Kind of like when you're playing the first level of a game, right? The little rats, like in a Dungeons and Dragons, they're gonna try and hurt you, and at the beginning they can do a little damage to you, right? But you can fight them off. But when you get really, really strong and powerful, the rats don't stop attacking you. The rats don't stop. They just can't do anything to you anymore, right? Because you've gotten so strong. But they can still get in the way, and if you pay attention to them, they can waste your time, right? A rat that can't hurt you or do anything to it, if you pay attention and focus on it, can still waste your time while you're swinging your sword or doing whatever you do. And I want to talk about how, even though you don't get much experience from like these low level ads, these low level people, uh, they'll still suck up your time and your energy and your focus. And that's something that so recently, I was reading someone's stuff, and I don't know what happened. They went and talked about me behind my back, and then just totally ghosted, stonewalled me or whatever. And I think they got offended or whatever. Like, I don't know. It's pretty immature behavior if I'm being honest. But it's just sort of like there was a part of me that was like, oh man, like did I do something wrong? Like, do I need to talk to them? But then I just started realizing it's like, no, the fact that they can't face you and talk to you is already evidence that like this person isn't really on your level. Because anybody who was on my level would be able to articulate, face me in person, and we'd be able to have an adult discussion about it. Because I've done that, right? But if people get offended or don't like feedback and they get personal and they assault and they look to all these other tactics, that's an immature person. And I think, in spite of the fact that immature people might be talented, they might be have a lot of potential. I might even like them or like what they do. It doesn't change the fact that they're not they're a waste of time. And I think that's something that I want to talk about, where authenticity is going to take you, is because when you start being more authentic with yourself and you really start moving your mission. So today, I had these two incredible conversations with these two incredible people who get it, and it was crazy because I was critical and far less, especially with one. I she is on a pretty big platform and is a pretty like well-known person. Like, I was surprised that I was able to get a hold of her and how approachable she was, because she's got like a publicist and like she's been on like a lot of platforms, and like she's a pretty big deal, right? And I was talking with her, and it was crazy how like someone who, for her time and her services with what she does professionally, she charges like thousands of dollars. She makes thousands of dollars a day, every single day. And she was so like open to me, just talking to her and telling her, like, not my criticisms, because I was critical of her, but I said, like, listen, like, you could shape this and you could do this better and this could look better. And she was just so like with it. And it was like she was so capable and she has like a proven platform and she's a professional and she's done so much. And then I was like, wait, if this professional, who people literally pay thousands of dollars to like an hour to speak to or to spend time with, why am I going to have anxiety over this person who isn't doing anything? Like they wrote a book and they didn't like my comment, but they got so hurt that they didn't talk to me. And I was like, why am I going to waste my time worrying about that? And that was something that really resonated with me. And I just started realizing like people who are going to the top, man, they're going to the top, and recognize like one person at the top is worth 1,000 people who aren't. Way more actually. Because the reality, and the thing is, you see it show up financially, you see it show up in like the groups people hang out with. And a lot of times people think it's like, oh well, it's because of luck, it's because of the connections, it's because of all these things. More and more I'm starting to see it's really just about approach, and it's the willingness and ability to ask difficult questions and look for those answers and stay present enough with whatever is being confronted with you and actually go there. I've seen again and again as I've talked with a lot of authors, a lot of different business people, a lot of the people who don't rise and who struggle continually, it's because they don't really put, maybe they can, maybe they can't, I don't know. But I've noticed that essentially they don't know how to put their presence or focus into a central goal. They don't know how to do it. And you can even do it like when you have a conversation that's a difficult conversation and you'll ask someone like, hey, like what is it you're actually wanting to do? What is your actual goal? They freeze up and they can't tell you. And when you ask them to get specific about what's going on in their life, what's been happening, and one thing I've noticed is that like a lot of people, especially people who don't win, people who don't succeed, people who don't go places, they speak in generalities. They speak and well, everybody knows, and they speak in vague terms, right? It's always very vague with people who aren't rising. And I've noticed that you can get specific with winners. You can be like, what exactly happened? What exactly did they say? What were the specific details? What was it that was heard? Winners can be specific. Winners can be clear. But like people who can't and who just are emotional and who have all these feelings and who get lost in the sauce, they struggle with the general, they're vague, they're emotional, they're reactive. And I've just come to see like 1,000 of those people, 10,000 of those people are not worth as much, and their opinions are not worth it. The people are still worth. Everybody has eternal worth. It's not about worth. But in saying, in terms of the value they offer, not that you can't learn something from them, but in terms of what they actually offer and are bringing to the table according to their awareness, it's not 1/10,000th of someone whose capacity is to be present. And I'm starting to realize like I need to trust myself. That authenticity is I need to trust myself and what I know and what I think more than whatever this random person thinks, especially if they can't talk to me about it, especially if they talk about me behind my back, especially if they do all this clandestine stuff and they can't be specific. And it was just like what happened with that stupid seminar I went to, right? When I asked specifics, they couldn't be specific. So even when they went and called the cops on me, the cops weren't doing anything because it's like specifically, there's nothing wrong here. But that's the thing is like people who deal in generalities and vagaries and stuff like that, like they're not winners. And the people who react and move based off of that, they're not going to win either. Because if you are going to let someone who's a vague concept of reality lead you in your reality, then you're going to lose right along with them. And people can talk about being right, people can talk about feelings, but ultimately, if it doesn't produce results and you're not getting what you want, what good is it? And more I'm just realizing again and again like there's so many people have opinions, and especially as I'm rising and getting stronger, I'm just realizing wait, the the people who win want to talk to me. It's the people who are struggling that have an issue with me. It's the people who don't have an idea of what they're doing. It's the people who are vague and who want to be mediocre. Those are the people who aren't vibing with me. But all the excellent people, I'm starting to notice. Like it was funny because this one of these people I was talking with her, and this is like she's worth so much and does a ton and is a very well known person, and she was listening to me, and I was like, this person is listening to me. I'm being way more critical of her than I was of this other person. And it had just dawned on me. It's like, right, that's why she got there. Because she listens and she adapts and she learns and she's open and she's willing. Well, this other person is where they are because they don't. And a lot of the times people don't want they want to say like, well, it's like I'm stuck because, or I haven't managed, it's because of this, or I don't have the connections, or this and that. More and more, I'm just starting to realize, no, you are where you want to be. And if you don't want to be there, you need to really ask yourself, is that the truth? Because that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, or technically today. But I'm super late posting this, so I'm just going to post it. But day 14 is all about truth. And where does truth take you and what that looks like. And that's when we talk about the game plan. And then after that, we go into week 3, which is all about who we're going to be, right? Who we're going to show up as. And so I'm super excited. As for my progress with the update, I've been making a bunch of different book covers for my Kickstarter. So this whole week has just been about getting these Kickstarters ready for next week. So I've got the 2 Kickstarters I'm launching, and then after that, um, the world's really opening up as we get ready for the course launch as well as the book launch. So I'm super excited about that. We're going to start ramping up. By the way, also, if you want to get in on the 7 Steps to Mastery and the Prolific Career Engine, um, it's open until April 1st is when the price doubles, or when it's not 50% off. Um, so I'll be reaching out to a few people just to let them know, like, hey, I think you'd be a good fit. Come in while it's cheap or whatever. But guys, I'll be honest, like I'm taking my sweet time finding the right people because more and more I'm just focusing on really building my own platform and I want to build this crew. But I realized if the player circle is going to be 4 or 5 people, those 4 or 5 people who are committed to change are going to be more effective than literally dozens of people who aren't. Because I've been going to these conferences, talking to all these groups, and I'm just starting to realize it's like literally 2 or 3 or 4 people committed to change are going to carry more weight, way more impact and a difference than literally these hundreds of thousands of people who are just talking and not doing anything. So I'm not going to be that. And I recognize that like a hero vanquishes many foes, right? But those foes get vanquished by one hero. So, and all those many people have villains, right? So, oftentimes I need to realize like for some people, I'm the bad guy, and I'm okay to do that in whatever small little world they have, because I realize like in the one that matters, I'm just winning. So for all the winners out there and for the 2 beautiful amazing people that I talked to today, I'm so happy I met you guys. Keep winning, stay happy, stay healthy, and peace.